Former New Jersey Governor Christie jabbed former President Trump this week amid speculation he could face a third indictment, calling Trump a one-man crime wave. Usually folks like this commit discrete crimes and wind up having one trial. This guy has been a one-man crime wave, Christie, a GOP presidential rival to Trump, said on Pod Save America Thursday. Trump currently faces charges in two separate cases. One indictment on state charges in New York relating to falsifying business documents in the hush money case, and another federal case led by special counsel Jack Smith regarding mishandling of classified documents. The potential third indictment also stems from Smith's investigatory team and focuses on Trump's actions after the 2020 election, including attempts to overturn the election result in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. Smith met with Trump lawyers Thursday and sent Trump a letter earlier this month notifying him he was the target of the January 6 probe. He's earned every one of them. If you look at it, every one of these is self-inflicted, Christie said Thursday during the podcast interview. And that's why, do I think that prosecutors exercise prosecutorial judgment and discretion? In some respects, they're questionable, yeah, and they always have. But what I say to people all the time is whether you agree or disagree with the prosecutors, look at the underlying conduct. Christie, a former federal prosecutor, said he doesn't agree with the New York State charges over a payment Trump's then lawyer made in 2016 to prevent an adult film star from going public with allegations of a past affair with Trump, which he has long denied. Do we want someone as president who is willing to pay off a porn star who he had an affair with 2 months before a national election to hide it from the people who he's asking for their vote for president of the United States? I think that's probably conduct that we should be frowning upon, Christie said. Christie has been the most notable Trump critic in the crowded GOP primary field. He has often traded barbs with former President Trump, with the former president over Trump's unwillingness to debate criminal charges, his age, and even each other's weight. The former governor is receiving about 3% support in recent national polling averages, placing 7th in the field, far behind Trump at about 52% support. So, Christie is he's so fun to cover. He might be my favorite out of any of the current Republican candidates, as far as whenever I see their name and there's like a news story relating to them, he's probably the one I get the most excited to talk about because he's been saying the most, I guess I'll put it this way. The things he says, even if they're not policy based, because the whole field is like afraid to criticize Trump in any severe way, despite the fact that they're running against him, I feel like when he talks, he has more of a voice and is more distinct than the rest, even if he's polling worse than, most of them. The part of this that I agree the most with is where he says every one of Trump's charges, or I guess every one of the charges is self-inflicted. I mean, you think about the history of the United States where maybe there's a close election. You look at Gore and Bush in 2000. For a whole month, we didn't know who the president was. But after Gore conceded, that was it. There was no riot where Gore said, we love you to the people that came and protested. You look at a lot of candidates who maybe they did have, we know different presidents and presidential candidates have had affairs with women. That's been proven at this point. But you look at situations like that and you say to yourself, how hard is it to just not cheat on your wife and not be, because my thing is, I've said before, do I think the personal conduct of a president should bar them from having the job, as far as if they have affairs, if they just little like adulterous type stuff like that? It doesn't matter to me. If the person's positions are ones I agree with, I'm willing to look past, and I think most voters are, which is why after the Access Hollywood tape came out a month later, Trump won the 2016 election. Where Christie says, do we want someone as president who's willing to pay off a porn? It's like, maybe people would rather not have someone like that, but I just don't think a majority of voters care enough about the personal lives of these candidates to focus on it enough for it to be the thing that stops them from supporting that person over a candidate that they might otherwise especially dislike. But I do agree with him that a lot of this stuff is self-inflicted, and it's really sad that, like, because I had my problems with Romney, McCain, Bush, obviously. I I thought Donald or Bush were okay, but the point I'm making is, like, it's so sad that in this election year, and arguably in the last one too, but in that case he was the incumbent president. Those are always hard to take out. So I was more forgiving of Republicans for like being stuck with him. It's sad that the person they're seeking to renominate has all of these criminal charges, and it's just sad that like the Republicans really have turned into this, for a party that calls itself law and order and wanting to stop the Democrats from, you know, letting people off for everything or whatever. It's sad that like the person that could end up being their presidential nominee for the third presidential election in a row is the one who's had the most charges out of anyone, at least in modern history. So I agree with Christie that Trump is a one-man crime